Part 3. Oh, Watson, all up in our grill. Hey. Okay. Okay, so I was thinking about this. So it's like they want, it needs to go in the right order, right? So it was standing up, bare hands. The dude was left-handed. But in the picture he pulled up, he used, wait. Didn't they said he was left-handed though, right? But then why would he use the knife in his right hand? I'm gonna go with left hand, we'll see. Neck. And then, what? What? That's the one. No, okay.
This position is unlikely.
Is it though? Stop. He's just like, here, let me touch your face over and over again. This position is unlikely?
No, there is no reason the murderer would be positioned like this. The grip would be awkward.
I know that's not where he was, but okay. Wait, no, this one. So then, this?
Yes, it's quite possible the events occurred like this.
Okay. Whew. Okay, so stop. So now we're doing the... alright. I don't need to say anything about it, really. I mean, you guys know all of the jokes I could possibly make right now. Knife to the stomach, and...
No, I don't think that things went like that. The murderer didn't attempt to stab his victim in the stomach.
He's just doing it over and over again. Watson's like, why is this my life? Really? You don't... But it wasn't the left hand. It was...
No, I don't think that things went like that. The murderer didn't attempt to stab his victim in the stomach.
Oh, I see what they're saying. I see what they're saying.
I hope that, as with the real murder, nobody had to witness all of that, Watson. If the murderer used his right hand astride his victim, there wasn't much room. The murderer had enough room to inflict the wounds to the neck, and these wounds suggest the left hand was used.
Okay. Oh god. And then straight to the ground. God,
My dear
poor
Watson, now that we have found all of our clues, nothing remains but to subject them to our most likely hypotheses in order to deduce the facts.
Okay. Will they just automatically go where they're supposed to be? Yes. Yes. Okay, so these are deductions based on whatever they're attached to, right? So there's a little pool of blood, which means the blood didn't flow in strong spurts, I guess. No traces of blood on the walls. The victim had her throat slit. The wall was washed. Maybe. The victim didn't have her throat slit while standing. Dirty and damp ground. Murderer threw water on the ground. There were relations on the ground. He could not have had relations on the ground. That one, I guess? Wasn't killed here. Was dead before being stretched out and having her throat slit. Was killed by having her throat slit. Was she dead already? Maybe? It's green. Does that mean I did it right? Oh, we'll see. Victim was holding the bonnet in her hand at the time of the murder. The bonnet was already on the ground. The victim wasn't cold. I guess. The victim wasn't afraid. I guess. Wasn't cautious. Had her bonnet in her hand and was ready to exercise. This is the most awkward thing. Sure. Yes, let's go with that. And then... Okay, we've got more. We've got more work to do, guys! The tongue was bloated, wherever that goes. The throat was slit, wherever that goes. There was other stuff. One of these, one of them's. Why don't they just place it for me if they make it this easy? Okay. The corpse was still warm, no footsteps on the ground, the murderer cut... Murderer warmed the victim up. Awkward. The victim wasn't dragged. Let's go with that. Took place in the daytime, took place on the premises, murder moved... No, she came with him, so murder took place... It happened there. The tongue is bloated. Was strangled. Throat was slit from the murder... Victim has a bruise on the right jawbone. Hand, probably. The murderer was standing in front of the victim to strangle her. Is this all... Why... Well, I'll look at the options. I was like, why is this all connected? Victim... The killer's right hand prevented the victim from screaming. There were relations while standing up. The killer's left hand prevented the victim from screaming. It was left, wasn't it? Yeah, because right here would be the thumbprint, and all of the bruising right here would be the other fingers, yeah? Yeah. And then... Strangled the victim with his right hand, strangled the victim with both hands. The killer strangled the victim with his left hand. If he was shutting her up with his left hand, then he strangled her with his right hand. Killer is left-handed. Duh. No? We don't know. Okay, we don't know, apparently. Big man, strong man is a woman. No. Not that one. We're gonna go with not that one. Strong man, probably. We don't know if he's big.
The victim was most probably dead before being laid down. Once the heart stopped, gravity drained the body slowly, not in a heavy spurt that would have stained half the street.
Thank you, Holmes. I understand why you told me not to change clothes.
People just making out
Do
back
you
there.
realize that our behavior didn't alarm anyone?
The victim's ordeal was even
Love
more
it when they
discreet.
talk about what
By
I'm
acting in
just saying.
silence, we have confirmed something. The crime definitely took place here. The victim and her murderer were able to come here without making any noise, and afterwards the murder took place without the slightest cry being uttered. Come, Watson, let's go home. We have spent far too long in this sinister alley.
Indeed, yes. It's quite a sinister alley, isn't it?
And so, my dear Watson, the day and night which we passed in Whitechapel were enlightening, weren't they?
An adventure that I most certainly will never relate. To be in the skin of that poor woman. I prefer not to speak of it further.
That's what happens when you're a
But
hater.
have we really learned anything about the murderer? Obviously a man, given the necessary strength.
We have
Could be
little
a
to
buff
go
woman.
on, at least no more than the police.
You just know
But
it's
in my
not.
opinion, Inspector Aberline has a trick or two up his sleeve. No, I want to talk about the facts and what we can draw from them. We know where the crime was committed and under what conditions. I would like to ask you about the possible motives for the crime. According to you, Watson, what could have pushed the murderer to act in such a way?
Crazy! Oh, madness is on there. What could have been the possible motives of the crime? I guess I just match these. Okay. So there's revenge, love, theft, madness, and black magic. And the options are the victim suffered horrible mutilations, credible motive, even if it's a field that Sherlock doesn't know. I'm gonna go with this going here.
Black magic?
I'm not terribly interested in the occult or black magic. Let's give the benefit of the doubt to this motive.
The victim was an occasional prostitute without family or ties. The victim lived in misery. That one probably goes with theft, because she would have nothing to steal.
Theft, perhaps.
I have a hard time believing that someone would attack poor Polly so fiercely just to rob her of a few coins.
I can't tell if they're in the right spot, so I'm just gonna keep going. Resentment can lead to irreparable acts. Occasional prostitute without family or ties. That could go in love, maybe? Like, she wouldn't have anybody?
Personal drama.
Love can certainly lead to many a drama, but we have to consider the fact that the victim didn't know her attacker.
Okay. They keep going in the little coin purse up there, so I'm gonna assume we're doing good. Mutilations, resentment can lead to irreparable acts.
Revenge, Holmes?
Revenge could be a possible motive, but with one small reservation. We have reason to believe that the victim considered her murderer to be a typical client.
I think we're doing okay.
Homicidal insanity, Holmes.
It is indubitable that the man who did this to Polly Nichols is not of his full senses.
So now what do I do? These all say no. Can I say yes to some of them? Like, if they kind of make sense? Can I only do one? I feel like if I could only do one, it would have told me whether or not I got it right. So it's not gonna be black magic, but Sherlock doesn't know about black magic. Credible motive, it says. Let's go with yes. It wasn't theft. It wasn't love. Revenge? But it's,
Elementary. Very well, Watson.
Elementary.
I think that we've exhausted the
Obviously.
topic. Take a rest and we'll speak again later.
my thinking
it
cap
would seem
on.
that the investigation is advancing, Holmes. Yesterday's Star said that a suspect is in the hands of the police, a man with a rather sinister reputation.
Dude.
I was about to join you in your optimistic outlook until you informed me that the good news came from the press, Watson.
But surely they wouldn't invent the fact that the police are holding a suspect, or the acts that are attributed to him.
You will have an exact answer to these two questions in less than 50 seconds, Watson.
Pardon?
Enter, Inspector.
I'd get so sick of that. I'd be like, Sherlock, can you just tell me things outright, please, just once?
Dear Watson, allow me to introduce Inspector Aberline, Inspector Dr. Watson.
More bowler
Inspector,
hats.
To what do we owe the
Checked.
honour of your presence, Inspector?
I heard that the two of you made your way to Whitechapel a few days ago. Your arrival, you are aware, coincides with a very serious affair which our police service is going to great lengths to solve and which is creating strong tensions in the area.
Pardon me, but haven't you arrested someone? A certain Leather Apron?
Absolutely not. The man who hides behind this name is indeed being actively searched for by the force. Besides, nothing at the moment suggests that he is the Bucks Row murderer.
There, you've been enlightened, Watson. Now it is our turn to answer Inspector Aberline's questions.
Indeed. I will be brief and precise. Do you intend to investigate this case, or have you already started?
Are we gonna
It is to be
lie?
of service to a friend that I went to Whitechapel. We did, out of curiosity,
Lying.
familiarise
Why the
ourselves
lying?
with the preliminary reports, and we made our way to the scene of the crime. Our conclusions are slim, as are the clues. Having not been officially appointed by a client, I believe that my intervention in this business will end there.
No, that's
Very
a
well.
lie.
To be frank, you take the weight off my shoulders by distancing yourself from the case. Our image isn't very good, to say nothing of what the press puts us through. Thus, if overnight they found out that you were on the case, people would turn against us.
Do they not
And
like
they
Sherlock?
would pester me, overwhelm me, and finally make me out to be responsible for the inevitable failure such a scenario entails. Neither you nor I wish for this to happen. I know that your time is precious, Inspector. I will send you a note regarding my conclusions shortly.
With pleasure. Gentlemen,
Why do we lie?
Do you think that he will find the
So that we don't
murderer?
get bugged,
The
I guess.
chances are slim to non-existent. It is 7 days now, short of a confession from the murderer himself.
And you will not go further?
You heard the Inspector, Watson. My presence in Whitechapel would hinder, which doesn't mean that we will drop the case.
How is that?
The Inspector spoke of me, but not of us. It is you, Watson, who will lead the investigation tonight. It is you who will bring to the police station the little note that I will write regarding our conclusions. Despite the late hour, there is nothing to stop you from making inquiries about this famous leather apron while you are there.
Leather apron? What? I control Dr. Watson. You are so much work. Leather apron, more about his career, his latest movements in the borough. A sense of fear which the murder of the unfortunate woman Nichols has thrown over the neighborhood, and especially over her companions, shows no sign of decreasing. One of our reporters visited one of the single women's lodging houses. The proprietor of the place is also police are making efforts to arrest him, but he constantly changes his quarters. Some of the unfortunate women state that he is now one of the low slums of the borough. The man is unquestionably mad! Alright. Okay, what I don't get, so that inspector was in here and he's like, so I wonder if you guys have been, hanging out, talking about our case or whatever, and we have this right here.
There is nothing more to do
Yeah,
here.
I know. I just wanted to make my point. Watson. Watson!
What? You still haven't left for Whitechapel, Watson?
Get off my balls. I'm talking to myself about things. I just want to take a minute. I just want to relax just a little. Just for a minute. Jeez. Okay. Let's look at the map. Am I going to the police station? I guess.
Well, if I follow Holmes's instructions, then to begin my investigation into this leather
I'm
apron,
right in front of
I
it.
must first head to the police
Right
station.
there, right in front of it. It's already Oh, is it like nighttime? Oh, this is spook. This is spook. Why are there so many people out? I just want to see what's going on. Okay. Well, alright. What? Where are you? That was the creepiest singing ever. Are you... Where? Oh, I'm scared without Sherlock. Little children are gonna come kill me. Alright, let's go in here. Oh, hey. It's you again.
Good evening, sir. What do you... I know you. You were here last week with Sherlock Holmes.
Indeed. The letter from home.
Indeed. I have come to bring a message from Sherlock Holmes for Inspector Aberline.
Very well, I will pass it on. But come to think of it, someone was asking about you recently. Finley, the caretaker of some shady boarding house nearby. Does that mean anything to you?
Yes.
Ah, perhaps.
Some shady boarding house? You were the one who told us to go there last time. You know exactly which shady boarding house.
Well, goodbye.
No, we needed to...
I must go to Finley's boarding house.
Wait, before I leave... I hope you're not... Wait, I need to ask
Some news,
you
Doctor?
about the leather apron.
Actually, I read in the Star that you have arrested a suspect called Leather Apron.
You shouldn't believe what you read in that rag, sir. The man is being hunted, but we have yet to get our hands on him. And we aren't close to it either.
Why ever not?
Why ever not?
He's a
What could
specialist
you
in the
possibly be
streetwalker
doing?
racket. These girls make pitiful witnesses, and we don't inspire confidence.
So down
Furthermore,
on
the
themselves.
man seems to be pretty discreet lately. Someone must be helping to hide him.
How to get on his trail, then?
One of these girls would have to confide in us and give a valid description of the man. Then we'd ask around the journeymen, who use aprons, I imagine.
Alright, peace.
Well, goodbye.
Peace out. Well, I guess I'll go to the seedy boarding house. Oh, what are you? What is happening here? I'm painting my door with blood.
Good evening, Finley.
Oh, good evening, sir.
good evening,
Aren't you the
sir.
gentleman who was with the great detective the other time?
That is indeed me.
Poor
Dr.
Watson gets overlooked. What's up?
Tell me, Finley. I was told that you were looking for us at the police station.
Indeed, I wanted to thank you for last time, you know. That vagrant has never set foot round mine again. I even found a tenant, one who pays his rent, I mean.
Shock. Tell me about
You
the
don't
tenant.
seem very happy. But you were lucky to have found a good tenant so quickly.
It's just that this man is very strange.
Is he the leather apron?
He paid several days in advance and I gave him a key to the place. Since then, he goes out every night and returns at ungodly hours. I'm sure he goes to visit the ladies. But still, every night. And when he moved in, something must have broken in his case and stank up the stairs in his room for 2 days. I think it was a jar. It must be over there.
Tell me, have you heard
I
talk
think
of Leather
you
Apron?
have a serial
By
killer
the papers,
living in
that's
your
all.
place. Don't freak
This
out.
man seems very sinister.
Do you know any journeymen who use this type of apron?
The slaughterhouse butchers, I believe, but definitely the cobblers. I know one, old Isaac Solomonovich. His workshop is on a small street in the Jewish community, across from the hospital.
Fantastic.
He's a good man. He can help you. But you know, the people there are very close and don't share much with non-Jews.
Thank you,
Remember the
Finley.
men's club?
At your service,
I
sir.
was talking about socialist Jews. Maybe we can go to the men's club and find somebody. I'm gonna go ahead and pick that up.
This odour is very strong indeed, but the whole neighbourhood as such has a dreadful stench. Finley might have an idea as to what this bottle contained.
Oh,
What do you want, Doctor?
strange smell?
You're right, the pieces of the jar that your tenant broke do give off a strange smell.
It's true. That's quite normal given his trade.
Yes, and what would the trade be of
Your strange
tenant?
A doctor, like yourself, I believe. Dr. Tumblety, a foreigner. Canadian, perhaps.
Canadian
Dr.
form.
Tumblety. It might be interesting to know more about him.
Indeed. Let's stroke our beards together. Goodbye.
Thank you, Finley.
At your service, sir.
Peace. Alright, well, I guess I'll find that dude later. But seriously, this door, you and your door. Silly Finley. Well, I guess we'll pick up with this next time. But in the meantime, we can watch him paint